So I called in and told them what had happened with my car. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry that happened to you. Oh my Lord. I know someone who done that one time before. Oh my goodness. I hope your car is all right. Sure. Take the time you need. I don't know nothing about that because at the end of the day, I still needed my check. Still see it right there. You gotta go up the ladder right there. I was like, you told me about the ladder before we got on the elevator. So I'm bringing you a video today stressing the fact, once again, of how these jobs don't care about you or your well-being. Okay, so yes, story time. When I lived in Houston, Texas, I worked a job at an insurance corporation, so to speak. It was a call center. I worked in the morning hours, clean up until about 4:30 in the evening. People call in for health insurance, whether it was Medicaid, Medicare, I don't know, I can't remember all of them, but I know that they were called in if they were needing the insurance, if the insurance didn't cover something that it should have covered. Sometimes we'd have to call the doctor's office, sometimes they would call us. It all depends. This particular job was a headache in itself. Now, there were people who called in that I really enjoyed talking to, of course. And some people would literally call in and request to speak with me because they know that I was going to brighten up their day. But it did not change the fact that the job itself, for those of you who worked in a call center, you know exactly what I'm talking about with all of these monitored phone calls and all of these unnecessary meetings that they're always calling you into the office to talk to you and evaluate a phone call. All of this stuff. Yes, this story is about to be a little long, so I suggest you click off right now if you don't want to hear it. For those of you who do, let's continue. Anywho, I still managed to stay at that job 3.5 years. And it would have been 4 because, sometimes when we find ourselves intertwined in something and we get comfortable with it, that's what you call that comfort zone where we are, and we don't want to get outside of that comfort level. We will continue to go to those types of jobs. We will continue to do whatever it is that makes us feel comfortable. We are familiar with it. So that's why I was there so long. So certain times of the year, there would be storms that would come through. Okay, of course, Houston gets rain all the time. And I ain't knocking nobody who lives there. I used to live there, okay? That's why I know. It's always raining over there. Okay, but it was raining. And it had rained a couple of days. It was a lot of rain. There was no hurricane. It was just rain. I went to work every day because I'm one of those that whether I hate my job or not, if I signed up for it, it's my job. Guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to go to work every day. I'm going to go every day. I'm not going to be pretending like I'm sick and hanging around the house. Well, you know what? Let me take that back. I have done that a time or two. But I'm not one to make a habit out of that because I don't like my check to be short. All right, there you go. So on this particular job, I was always at work. Never missed. I was never late. If I'm going to go, I'm going to be on time. I leave in plenty of time in the morning. I already know 45 is going to be backed up going that way, and I need to leave in plenty of time to make sure I get to work. If I'm not mistaken, my shift started at 8:30, and I would leave sometimes 6:30. I tell you no lies. I would leave early. And there's been a time when I've left an hour and a half early to get somewhere that originally with no traffic shouldn't have took but 20 minutes. And I was still 30 minutes late. Okay, so with that being said, you know how hard I pushed to go to work and be a part of this corporation. All right, the rain came. My house was on a street where the city had already come and started to lay down new asphalt. So all of the streets were completely black, beautiful, smooth, black roads, okay? At that point, they had not put any lines yet because it was fresh. They had just gotten to the point where they was letting us drive on it. So anyway, I went to work one day. It was still raining a good little bit. I still managed to get there, did my job, did what I needed to do. Left work, headed home in the rain, no problem. Get to the street, turn off into the street. Now, remember, my street was just paved with brand new black asphalt. And when you turn down that road at night, it's just like a glossy beautiful black. So therefore, when I turned down, I did not know what I was about to run into. So I turned off in the street, headed home. Soon as I turned in, there's like something stopped my car from moving. And I'm like, what is going on? Took me a minute to recognize what was happening. Well, a few seconds. I looked and I could see like something was going on in the front of my car. It was just still raining so bad. You couldn't hardly make it out. Using the defogger and you got all this stuff going on because it's raining. Even though I got off work at 4:30, once again, by the time I get from that side of town to my side of town, it will be dark at this time of the year. I couldn't figure out what was happening. So I opened the door and that's when I realized what I had done. I turned in my street and my street was completely flooded. Water everywhere. When I opened my door, the water was right at the door stoop of my car. Oh my goodness. All right. So that means I just literally drove my car into water. So when I looked out through the side to see what was going on, I could see that I had went in there a good bit before it really slowed my car down. I had to decide what I was going to do. I couldn't sit there. I was married at the time, but my husband worked out of town. He was not home. I had to get the car out of the water. So what I was going to do? Of course, I wasn't going to sit there like a helpless chick. Of course not. I knew that in order to save this car at least a little bit, I was going to have to gun it. So I put my foot in that gas and it parted the water, and within like a half a block, I pulled up into the driveway. So I put up in the driveway and I got out. Of course, you know how water does with the car. It has all of this little steam coming up all around the sides of the car. I'm no stranger to cars. I've had several cars in my lifetime, and I can tell you, I knew right at that moment that this was about to be a problem. Nosy neighbor. How many of y'all got nosy neighbors? All right, you know what? Don't leave that in the comment section. But nosy neighbor.
Ooh, you run your car through that water. Ooh. I sure hope it's gonna be okay, but 9 times out of 10, that car's about to see a mechanic.
Get in the house. Anyway, every now and then throughout the night, I would go out and crank it. And it was cranking with no problem. Crank, put the key in, boom, boom, boom. I ain't hearing no sputtering, no nothing. So next day, time to go to work, I couldn't go, of course, because it was too much water on my street. So luckily for me, it was on a Friday. So I sat in the house all the weekend and I would go out there, try my car. Because now, bear in mind now, we're talking about a job that I preferred not to go to, but it was still a job indeed. I needed to get there on Monday. So I continued to go out every night, check the car, make sure it's cranking, make sure it's not giving me no problems. I'll back it out of the garage, get to the end of the street, drive it back up into the garage, back out of the garage, back out, all of that. The car seemed to be fine. Monday came. On my way to work, I'm driving my car. And I get halfway between my house and my job. And then it wants to start sputtering. Lights are coming on, and I was like, oh, why didn't you do that by the house? Why you let me get way up the street? About them crummy jobs. I had to call in. So I called in and told them what had happened with my car. Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry that happened to you. Oh my Lord. I know someone who done that one time before. Oh my goodness. I hope your car is all right. Sure. Take the time you need. I don't know nothing about that, because at the end of the day, I still needed my check. So I had someone come pull the car. Car goes to the shop. Look at the car. Yes, a few things that had water. The water was in there. I just told you how deep I was. So yeah, the water was there, okay? But they thought that it probably still had hope because it let me drive out of the water, and it has let me drive that far, and it was not sputtering until that point. So maybe the water just needed to flush from somewhere. You know what? I don't know. I attempted to drive it again. This time I got to work. When I got to work, it was fine. When I got ready to come home, it wanted to cut out on me again. These people, even though I was calling and letting them know and telling them, they have had a really, really, really strict system. Okay, let me just say that. I don't know how many days you could miss in a year. I think it's 7 or 8 you can miss. It was something of that nature. You get points for how many days you're running late and all of these different things. But to me, with my car being sick, that's just like if I was sick. Imagine if you sick and you need to go to work. You don't have no sick time. Some jobs don't even give you sick time. You don't have no PTO. You can't use anything. So now, not only are you at home with no pay for those days, unless you work a job that allows you to use your vacation time, not only are you at home with no pay, but at the same time, they up in the office, he missed another day, he missed another day. Do you think he's sick? I don't know. You know, people act like they sick when they ain't really sick. Dock him, dock her. See, these jobs don't care about you. Mine definitely did not care about me. One of my friends called to me and said that she overheard them talking. At this point, I think I had missed a week because I couldn't get to work, okay? It's not like I lived here where I could jump on the metro and ride the metro to work. And back then, there was no Ubers and all of that stuff. If I paid for a taxi, come on now, you know I wasn't doing that. I had only missed a week. Now, we're talking about a job that I had worked at for 3.5 years. Faithfully. All the overtime they offered, I took. All the mandatory overtime, I did without question. My friend called me and said she overheard someone talking about it, and they said that it looks like if she missed about another day or two, we're going to have to cut her loose. Did you not just hear me tell you that my car is down? Huh? How many times you can count on 3 fingers out of 3.5 years that I've ever even missed a day? What? So you telling me that as long as we go to work, clock in, smile every day, pretend to love everybody who passes. Hey, how you doing? Oh, girl, I'm making it. You already know. You don't need to know what's in my lunch bowl. Go on now, go on. Get on right here. You don't need to know what I got for lunch. You know, they want you to communicate and, you know, fraternize with each other, all that. That may be the wrong word. Okay, y'all know what I'm saying, though. And if you don't act the way they want you to act, you don't carry on the way they think that you should carry on in the workplace, they have a problem with you. Is it their fault that my car quit? No. So please, don't nobody come for me because I will check you. I know it's not their problem that my car broke, okay? But 5 days and you are already communicating about cutting me loose? And my friend was not lying because when I got to work, they called me in the office and had a little chat about it and said I can only afford to miss, I think it was like 2 or 3 more days. This was the beginning of the year. The storms and stuff come through. This was the beginning of the year. I think maybe February, somewhere around in there. It could have been this month. What do you mean? I can't miss. So that means I need to already know that if there's an emergency with my family or anything that's going on, I'm going to have to put all of that to the side because this job is more important. This job that I have dedicated all of my time to, I was always at work. If I wasn't at work, I was asleep because I'm so tired from being at work. And as soon as something happens that is detrimental to your well-being, stuff that you know that if without it, if your health fails, if your car quits, if you go to having any sort of issue, family matters, they don't even care. These people don't care about you. They don't care because they was about to dock me. Well, you know what? You have to beat them to the punch because when you get ready to file, for unemployment while you're looking for another job, the last thing you need is for somebody to say, you got fired. No, she ain't quit. We fired her. We fired her because she wasn't coming to work. You know they gonna flip this script. They ain't gonna say why I wasn't coming to work. They just gonna turn around and say she just wasn't coming to work. She wasn't showing up and we had to let her go. So I had to beat them to the punch before they did that because I was right there. I already knew right when I got to work and went to that meeting, I already knew that the next day or two that I was gonna have to miss anyway because my car had to go back to the shop. They don't even give you a chance to get yourself right because at the end of the day, They don't have to. At the end of the day, they don't have to let you get right. This is their business. Now, I can't knock the supervisors and the floor managers and all of these people. I can't knock them because they only doing their job. They're doing what they're told to do. But as a corporation, as a whole, this is the way they run their business. The people who actually own a lot of these businesses that you guys work for, you've never met. You'll never meet them. You'll never see them a day in your life. Everybody who you meet, all of the supervisors and the floor, the leads and all of that, depending on what type of job you work, these people are hired on to do a job just like you are. Okay? It doesn't matter whether they get, whether they clock in every day or whether they're on, whatever you call it, where everybody seems to think that they doing something because they don't have to clock in. Yeah, at the end of the day, you still an employee. All right. They're doing their job. And if they don't do their job, they'll get let go just like you. Because the corporation as a whole don't care about you. They just want the work done. So you guys need to think about that. The next time you have an issue, and your issue is so serious, and you can't get around having to do something about your issue. Now, when you work all day long, you already know how you going to take care of business. You have a certain amount of time to take care of business. If I get off work at 4:30 in the evening and things go to closing up at 5 and 6 o'clock, I don't have time to take care of nothing. Most places are not even open for you to take care of particular types of business on the weekends, unless you get lucky. So that means in order to take care of business, you may have to take off. Think about all of that. Think about how important it is for you to go to work every day. Is it more important for you to go to work every day? Or is it more important for you to make some money every day? Because if you want to make money every day, now we talking. There are ways that you can do just that. Too many ways for you to be stressing and straining. Letting these jobs have you pulling your hair out. Okay? Literally pulling your hair out. Walking your floors late at night. You can't stop talking about these jobs all through your weekend. You hate and despise everything about that job. And this has nothing to do with people who just don't want to work. Because most of us, we want to work, okay? We want to work. I just watched a short the other day. And this guy, this guy was singing a song. Anyway, he was in the truck. I'm pretty sure most of y'all seen that with the co-worker was in the truck and the guy was over on the other side. He was singing the song. Oh my goodness. It was so funny. I think I had that thing on repeat probably about 20 times. It was so funny. Made me almost want to go get a job. Made me miss some co-workers just then. I had to snap out of it. So with that being said, for those of you who are lollygagging and tiptoeing around all of the things that you know you want to do with yourself because you stressing and straining and worrying about that job ain't worrying about you. If you don't believe me, ask the people who are getting laid off as soon as they get to work. And this is going on right now. And with that being said, like, subscribe, turn on the notification bell because I'll be bringing you back something later. Thank you guys so much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day.